I go back to my question. Do you have a clear goal and a clear vision as to what success will look like? Another example of an organisation that was energised by clear goal and clear vision is McDonald's. Now, you may know that right now McDonald's is kind of going through some iffy times. But about 10, 12 years ago, McDonald's was going through iffy times again. And what happened then was in 2003, McDonald's announced their first ever quarterly loss of about $344 million. A new CEO came in, Jim Cantalupo, and he extolled what I would call as a clear goal and a clear vision as to what success will look like. And Jim Cantalupo said that to turn McDonald's around at that time, we need to have hot, fresh food served in our restaurants and clean restrooms. Hot, fresh food and clean restrooms. That's all he said, our clear vision is. And what Jim Cantalupo did was he drove that basic concept through McDonald's. And from 2003 up to about 4 years ago, the McDonald's share price grew from $12.50 up to about $100. So the concept worked really well. But it worked out because Cantalupo had a clear goal and vision, clean restrooms, hot, fresh food. He drove that through the organisation. People understood the importance of having it, and as a result, the business turned around. A lot of other things happened as well, a lot of innovation, refurbishment, etc. But he did have a clear goal and a clear vision as to what success will look like. Now, the thing about the clear goal and vision is, saying you want hot, fresh food and clean restrooms is not very dramatic. But it is compelling and it is clear. And I think when you're developing your vision, it doesn't have to be dramatic, it doesn't have to be different from your competition, but if you actually make it compelling and you make it clear, you have a much better chance of making it happen. So clear goal and clear vision. Now, in the businesses that you're in, competition is easy. Is that right, Chris? Competition is dead easy, yeah? All right, okay. So, I mean, you've got up against really tough competitors, some of them who may be here in the room, but you're up against people who've got good product, good service, good people, and good marketing campaigns as well. That's the life that we live in. They're hopefully saying the same things about you. But one of the things that can make a difference to you, though, is whether or not you implement what I call restroom marketing. And you're kind of saying, what is he talking about now? Restroom marketing. Restroom marketing comes from that little anecdote I told you about McDonald's. And Cantalupo said that people were boycotting McDonald's because they weren't providing fresh hot food and clean restrooms. And basically what he realized is that there are certain things that if you don't get right, people will boycott your business. And one of the basic ways that people lose business is because you don't get basic things right or simple things right, and your customers get tired of you and they'll move to someone else. It isn't because you don't have a good product, it's because something went wrong. And one of the simple little questions you could ask yourself in terms of restroom marketing is to ask yourself, I would define restroom marketing as non-negotiables, all right? So for McDonald's, it had to be clean restrooms, right? It had to be hot, fresh food. And once they started moving away from that, they started to lose business again. For you, the non-negotiables are things that if you don't get right, your customers will walk. And a very good exercise for you to do with your colleagues would be to ask yourself, what are our non-negotiables? What are the things that if we don't get right, we lose customers? And these are non-negotiables that don't necessarily just apply to the C-suite, to the executive office, but they apply to every part of the business. How many people here are fans of Eli's cheesecake? A few people here, right? Famous Chicago cheesecake operation. I was listening to the CEO of Eli's Cheesecake a couple of days ago at a conference, and he said the most important person in the restaurant is the busboy. It's the really basic things that can make a difference. Because if you go to a restaurant, if any of you, last night we had a wonderful meal here, but if you had got snarky service from the staff, and we didn't, we got really good service from the staff, or if someone was actually rude to you, what you will remember is that kind of a reaction. right? So it isn't the chef that's going to make the difference to a restaurant. It isn't the maitre d' that's going to make a difference to a restaurant. It's basically the person who's serving your table. And what you've got to understand is who are the people, the equivalent of the people serving your table for your customers. And you've got to make sure that they understand what the non-negotiables are. And if they understand what the non-negotiables are, if they implement them, you're going to satisfy your customers. They're going to say good things about you. You're going to grow your business. A simple concept, but not something that people necessarily pay a lot of attention to. So that's the first element I want to speak to you about. G is for goals, clear goals and vision. Second element I want to speak about is, and the question is, what is the customer experience? What is the brand experience that is differentiating you from your competition? So let's go back to the core reason why I asked you to take out your business card. Your behavior creates your brand. Your behavior determines what people say about you. What people say about you is your brand. You're working in a business where you've got good products, your competitors have got good products, but ultimately it may well come down to the relationship you've got with your customers. So what I would like you to do is to write down on the back of this business card, and then I'm going to ask you to take the business card and put it in with your driving license or with your credit cards. I would like you to write down the 3 words. I'm not going to ask you what they are. I would like you to write down the 3 words you would like your customers to say about you after you have left the meeting with them. Write down the 3 words you want your customers to say about you after you have left the meeting with them. I'll give you a minute to do it. Basically, what you have written down there on that business card is your brand promise. Now, a brand promise does not mean that that is what the customer sees as your brand. But if you can actually live those 3 words, you have a much better chance than of the customer actually seeing that this is your brand. And they will say those things about you. Now, another little part, so the reason why I'm asking you to put the business card back in with your driving license or with your credit cards is that when you go to the gas station tomorrow or go to the airport, you got to take out your driving license for ID, you will see those 3 words. And you will say, hey, would Bill, Nancy, Jerry, Francis use any of those 3 words to describe me after they met me at the HMMC conference? Or when you go to your clients next week, will they say those 3 words about me? Now, the power of this, if you really believe that those 3 words are important, right? The next time you are making a major sales pitch, take out that business card and ask yourself, all right, what do I want them to say about me after I finish the meeting? I want them to say that we're proactive, very good on follow-up, innovative, easy to work with, whatever words you want to use, right? Now, if you have that clear vision as to what you want them to say after you've left the meeting, and if you believe that if they say that, you've been successful, I think what you can now do is you can actually figure out, how do I craft my presentation to get them to say those words? Now, I'm not suggesting you be manipulative, but I mean, you know, you can phrase your conversation and your sales presentations, obviously, to get the business. So, I mean, it's not just going into, my objective is not just to go into get a $4 million piece of business. My objective is right now, because decisions are not yet being taken, my objective right now is to get them to know that we're reliable, innovative, easy to work with, etc. If you go in with that clear goal, you'll have framed your thinking about it, and when you frame your thinking about that, you have a real chance of making it happen. And if you make it happen, you are... I'll talk to you about the brand experience that you or your organisation creates. I know a lot of you have said you've been to Ireland. How many people here have are Guinness drinkers? Okay, quite a few of you. Brothers and sisters in arms. Okay, I love it. All right. I want to use Guinness as an example to help you think about the brand experience and the customer experience that you are creating. You create a good customer experience, you're going to get repeat business. Right. Those of you who are Guinness drinkers will probably know that the pouring of a pint of Guinness is actually an art. Right? Guinness will tell you that the pouring of a pint of Guinness takes 119.5 seconds. And when you're thirsty, 119.5 seconds is a really long time, but it's worth the wait though, right? But just one simple little point on that. It's a little simple marketing technique. You might be able to adapt it to something that you do with your business. Guinness could say that the pouring of a pint of Guinness takes 2 minutes. And it probably will just go over your head. But when Guinness says the pouring of the pint of Guinness takes 119.5 seconds, you're paying attention. Yeah, you're probably going to remember it. The difference between 119.5 seconds and 2 minutes is half a second. The impact of 119.5 seconds to 2 minutes could well be a lifetime of memory and recollection. All right? So simple little things can make a difference to how your customers remember you or recall. Right. Point about Guinness I want to make is that it takes time to pour the pint of Guinness. And I'm going to now give you a little bit of a dialogue for a second that will help you to think about the customer and the brand experience. So let's assume that we're inside an Irish pub. An American, we'll call him Jake, has come into the Irish pub. He's talking to the barman named Finbar, who he knows. Jake does not know that it takes a long time to pour the pint of Guinness. So just let's listen in and we'll get some ideas about the brand experience. So Jake, by the way, he walks and he talks a little bit like John Wayne, okay? Probably with a bit of a bad Irish brogue as well, all right? So let's listen in. Jake first says to Finbar the barman, he says, "Hey, Finbar, how long does it take to pour a pint of Guinness? You know, a pilgrim could die of thirst here waiting." Finbar responds, Jake, you are a heathen, man, a heathen. Do you not know that Guinness is a cultural experience and it's also a work of art? You cannot, Jake, you cannot rush a work of art no matter how much you want to. Jake, think about it. Think about that guy who painted the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo. Can you imagine when he was painting the Sistine Chapel, if he got a phone call from his patron, the Pope, and the Pope's new iPhone 6S, the gold model, and the Pope, he says to Michelangelo, he says, "Hey, Mikey, how long does it take you to paint the ceiling? You're only painting the ceiling." He wouldn't have been too impressed, my lad. Not too impressed at all. And it's the same with this black magic Guinness here we're waiting on. Guinness isn't just a product. It's an experience. And that, me boy, is what you've got to offer your customers with your product and with your service. You've got to offer them an experience. Jake, think about it. Harley Davidson doesn't sell motorcycles. Harley Davidson sells the roar, the sense of rebellion, the sense of freedom. And Jake, think about it. Starbucks doesn't sell coffee. Starbucks sells community, ambience, friendliness, get together. Jake, Apple doesn't sell computers. Apple sells hip, chic, modern, cool. So Jake, what is it you offer your customers? What is the brand experience? What is the customer experience that you are offering your customers beyond the core product? And Jake, if you don't know what that core customer experience is or brand experience, you're going to have difficulty differentiating yourself. There's your pint of Guinness, Jake. Enjoy. Now, I do believe that if that Irish barman Finbar was here today, the question he will be asking you is, what is the brand experience? What is the customer experience that you are offering your customers, your clients, that is differentiating you from your competition?